I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal.
Washington, D.C., 1963. Perhaps one of the greatest orators of our time, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr., would come to embody the face of a repressed American minority that would accept second-class status no more. King, a third-generation clergyman, would follow his father and grandfather into the ministry, and by all appearances, the prospect of a long, successful career in the church seemed very likely. The congregation of Ebenezer Baptist Church was large, and while predominantly African-American, many of its members were among the area's most respected and well-to-do black professionals. What many in African-American circles might have considered to be a comfortable existence in upwardly mobile black society, Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. would answer to a much greater call than the one he had first envisioned the day he was first ordained. December 1st, 1955. Rosa Parks, a seamstress and secretary for the Montgomery chapter of the NAACP, is arrested. Dr. King, now the pastor of the Dexter Avenue Baptist Church, would meet with other civil rights leaders to form the Montgomery Improvement Association. The association, under the leadership of Dr. King, would organize a boycott of the city's transit authority that would last 382 days. As tensions built, the name and face of Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. quickly became well known, and not necessarily among those who admired him. Already a member of the Executive Committee of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, King would become both one of the country's most admired men as well as one of the most hated. Before the successful conclusion of the bus boycott, Dr. King would be arrested. His home firebombed, he would endure the hatred and derision of those threatened by the concept of true equality and positive change. But in the end, there was victory. By 1957, Dr. King was elected to the presidency of an organization he would help form. The Southern Christian Leadership Conference would not only stand on a foundation of time-honored Christian tradition, but also embrace the principles of nonviolent civil disobedience as exemplified in the life and teachings of India's Mahatma Gandhi. By 1964, Dr. King would become, at 34 years old, the youngest person to receive the Nobel Peace Prize. Believing that greatness comes by service to one's fellow man, Dr. King would donate the prize money, $54,123, a substantial sum at the time, toward the continuing civil rights movement.
You want to be great? Well, you ought to be.
Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. would on April 3rd, 1968, deliver his last and perhaps personally moving message.
A long life, longevity, has its place. But I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will. And He's allowed me to go up to the mountain. And I've looked over and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land. So I'm happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
The following evening, April 4th, 1968, at 6:01 p.m., the journey marking more than 6 million miles would come to an end for the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr.
Good evening. Dr. Martin Luther King, the apostle of nonviolence in the civil rights movement, has been shot to death in Memphis, Tennessee.
He would speak over 2,500 times over 11 years.
As I pass along, if I can cheer somebody with a word of song, if I can show somebody he's traveling wrong, then my living will not be in vain.
For Transit TV, I'm Thomas Rollo Davis.